Good afternoon, everybody, no matter where you are in the world, or good morning. I'm super excited with my next episode of Natter with Macca. Today, we have a lady who was born and bred in Queensland's Sunshine Coast. My guest today has had a number of careers, and also she's quite a bit of a celebrity. She's a radio host on the Sunny Coast. She's a former promotions girl and former beauty therapist. She quite possibly has the best hair I've ever seen. And when she was a beauty therapist, she ensured her clients had the best arched eyebrows in the Sunshine Coast. So I should have actually put stickers over here. In January 2005, she landed her dream job as a presenter for pay TV music channel MTV. Oh my God, we're all jealous. She studied integrative nutrition, and she's probably most famous for the rest of the country, not just Queenslanders, for appearing on Married at First Sight. Please welcome Heidi Latcham.
Oh, how lovely. You're so lovely to say those things.
All right, I'll put on gallery view. So thanks so much for joining us. We've had a few false starts, everybody, but we've got there.
My pleasure. We've done it. We're amazing at computers.
Thank God we're beautiful. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's thank God.
So Heidi, I think the first question that everyone's going to be thinking about, and it was my first question when I first connected with you, was, you are so beautiful, right?
Oh.
Why did you go on TV to find love? Why MAFS? Tell us all about that process.
You are such a beautiful lady. I went on Married at First Sight because I literally thought I do not like the modern world of dating. I do not like dating apps. I don't like how I feel like the power switch at the moment is the girls chasing after the men, not the men chasing after the girls. And I hate that. I don't like that. And I just found that it was just yucky. It didn't make me feel nice, the dating world. And I just kept picking the wrong people. And so I thought, oh my God, why not just go crazy and go on a show where they have experts and then they choose for you? I mean, my God, they might be able to do a better job than me. And so I took the chance, and I thought, if this wasn't even on TV, I would like to do it just as an experiment. I was so interested in that side of the thing. So I took a chance and I got them to choose for me, and I had an experience.
You did have an experience. I think, the fun thing was that when we saw, for those of us who've watched the show before, we've seen train wrecks and we've seen some really lovely relationships come out of it. And I think when people saw you and Mike standing there, we were like, oh, perfect couple, right? But then it wasn't very long for us all to realise that poor old Mike is not very deep. And so you had a bit of a struggle on the beach there trying to have a deep conversation with him. And he didn't really know what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, that is so funny, because that's nearly 2 years ago. Do you know?
I know,
that's
crazy. I've stalked you since then.
Oh my God, I love it. Don't worry, I've been watching you since I was like a kid, so don't worry. That was a massive shock that day, and that did show me that we were so different in many ways. But I really wanted to still give it a chance, and that's why I stayed, because I wanted to give it more of a chance, because I thought, well, God, if someone has picked this person for me, then I want to learn as much as I can. I just wanted to learn as much about myself and relationships as I could, and see, well, maybe I was doing something wrong. So, it was really eye-opening in that retrospect.
Yeah. And so how hard is it to try and live normal? I guess everything happens so quickly on the show, but you're also in front of TV cameras. So do you get to that point where you're oblivious to them, or that you are fully aware that they're there?
I just kind of forgot. I literally forgot, because you get mic'd up and everything, and they come in and out, but especially at the dinner parties and especially at the commitment ceremonies and things where they're filming for a long time, you forget. And eventually, because you're so tired, because you've been filming for so long, you actually don't even care. You're just like, oh, I don't care what I look like. I don't care if you get this. Who cares? Like, you just end up living normally. So you just, it's kind of just like real life. And we went into it so quickly. It was like we were married from the first night. It was so weird. It was like, bam.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super interesting. And was it difficult for you then to just go, I need to pull a pin because it's not going to go anywhere? So tell us about the emotions that you went through for that, because I know that in any relationship, right, it's that moment we go, I need to get out of here.
Totally. Well, that we were up and down, and we were up and down so many times during our journey. And then we done the commitment ceremony, the final one, the final vows, and we both said, yes, stay. And then I ended up moving from Melbourne to the Gold Coast to be with him. And then within 5 days, we had disintegrated. It was all over Red Rover. And because of then it was real life without the cameras, you have nowhere to hide. And so the true you is fully exposed. And I knew we were absolutely wrong for each other on every single level. and I've never looked back since then. Yeah.
Yeah, good on you. And so how long did it take you to settle into normal life after that?
Oh, ages. It was weird because then I'd moved to the Gold Coast, and then I was like, oh my God, what the fuck do I do now? And I thought I had no job. I'd just gone on a television show and it hadn't aired yet. And I moved for a man that I thought I loved. And then I was like, oh my God, what do I do? So I did what I felt was right at the time. I needed to feel safe again. So I went back to the Sunshine Coast, which is where I was from originally. And it just so happens, work-wise, that the girl that I had replaced had left. And I literally, it's like sliding doors. It's like boom, boom, boom. There was a job position available. And then, and then I got a job starting working on the Sunshine Coast, which was amazing. But then I got that job, and then the show started. So then it became weird, and then it became strange, and I had to live like every day while I was married to him, and especially on the radio, because people were listening to the show. So every night that the show was on, I had to live like that was my life for 3 months, and that really took a toll on me emotionally, even physically. I just remember I lost so much weight. I was stressed. I didn't exercise. I would just went home. I worked, and then I'd go home, and then I'd hide. And then paparazzi would be outside my door, and they'd follow me, and I'd be crying, yelling at them. I'm like, why do you care about me? Like, who cares? It was just so strange. It was just, I just couldn't comprehend it. And then at the end of the 3 months, when I was allowed to say, I'm not married, like this is who I am. It was just me again. It was just such a relief. It was such a nice feeling to just be back to me and for the show to be finished. Yeah. But I'm so grateful for it.
Yeah, that's it. There's always a silver lining, right?
Yeah, totally.
So, and your hair obviously gets you a lot of attention, but you used to actually be a brunette, and you had it shaved off for a while. Tell us.
I've had every hair color and I'm sorry I didn't do it today. It's been a long time. I've been up since 3:30 in the morning. Because I always had so much hair, and I just guess I didn't know what to do with it, especially when I was young. So I've had black hair, I've had straight black hair, I've had red hair, I've had, bleached hair, and long and curly, and then short, and then one day I just shaved it all off, and I then bought clippers and would shave it every single week and had it like that for ages, like number one. I just felt like being G.I. Jane. It was awesome. And then I'd bleach it sometimes. So it was a bleached skinhead. And I loved feeling like that. It was awesome. Yeah. And then I decided to grow it again. And then I hardly ever wore it out because I just didn't know what to do. I just felt like it was all this stuff. And then when I went on Married at First Sight, they were like, you need to wear your hair out. And I thought, oh shit, I don't know what to do. Through those 3 months, and I kind of tried to figure out how to do it, and I still think every day I'm trying to figure out what to do with it.
You totally rocked being bald, as you know, with that. Oh.
Best feeling in the world, because you just wake up and it's not about hair, it's just about your life, and life's so much easier. But I do enjoy doing different stuff with my hair. But it was just such a it was a cool time. It was great. It was when I was 30, so I did it just before my 30th birthday.
Were you worried that it wouldn't grow back like your normal curly hair?
No, because it's just hair. No, because it's just like I always just have had lots of hair, so it's just growing. Do you know what I mean? So I thought, no, I never thought about that. The funny thing was I kept having a dream. I had this dream, and I'd wake up in the middle of the night that I'd shaved my head. And so I'd run to the bathroom I had it consecutively for so long, and then I'd run to the bathroom and look, and I'd go, oh, it's there. It's still, no, I didn't shave it. And then so one morning I rung the hairdresser and I said, shave it, and he said, no, we'll do a pixie cut. So I booked in and I said, no, I want you to shave it. And he said, we'll go number 4. And I said, number 1. So we started doing here. I went, just do it in the middle. And he did it in the middle. And then I was like, oh my God, I just felt free. And then I just went into my car, I remember, and I played the India RE song, I'm Not My Hair. I don't know if you know that song. It's awesome. And I sat there and I was like, I'm not my hair. Like, it was cool. I guess it was something that had caused me, because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do with myself. You know what I mean? Growing up, a lot of the time, I felt like there's so much going on. And I guess that I felt free from having to think about that all the time. And it was just a good feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. You would have lost to like 4 kilos.
Yeah, I know. It was so funny. Going back was hell. Like, that was really hard, because I had to wear bandana things wrapped up around my hair, and I had to, like I was thinking, oh, how do I get out of this? And I'd do the Grace Jones, so I'd do a really shaved, and then I'd do the block on the top and stuff like that. But yeah, I'd love to do it again if I could go long shave, but the growing out in between is really hard.
And takes ages, right?
Yeah, especially because mine doesn't grow down, it grows out. So
so you're going to have afro for a while.
Yes.
So you're on the air on the sunny coast. What do you love most about radio?
I love the fun. So I love the fun aspect and talking to people. So I've got a great co-host who I love, and we have the same sense of humour. That was really important to me. I've had a few co-hosts, and some have been better than others, but I found with him, and this is before I even got the job, and we were talking, and I said to him and my boss, I'm like, it's really important that we have the same sense of humour. And if we don't, that's cool, but I need to have that every day. And I really wanted to work with someone that I actually liked as a person too. Like, you know, in radio, you have lots of people, or in life, you have people that you work with. But because you spend so much time there, the person that I'm with all the time, we speak, 3 hours straight, even an hour before that, an hour afterwards. So, 5 to 6 hours a day, we talk for constantly. And so I want to be able to enjoy that person and like the person that I'm around. Otherwise, it would be awful. So that was really important to me. So to have that friendship, which we've, developed over time, because I've been there, like nearly 18 months now, and just having that enjoyment, and also talking to different people, and getting people on every day and interviewing people, but just having that fun's really important for me to have every day. And so I really enjoy that. And where I work now is the best place that I've ever worked, and the people, the community that we have with our stations, and it even comes from the top. They're just so lovely, and the underlying tone is kindness. Like, everyone's supportive of each other. And it's just really, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's really nice. It makes it you don't go, I'm going to go to work, like, I get to hang out with those people today. So it's cool.
That's so rare.
Yeah, I know. And that's why I just think, oh my God, I'm so lucky. Thank goodness.
Gratitude every day.
Yeah, every day.
So I mentioned before that you worked on MTV. That would have been pretty exciting. Who, between your radio gig and your MTV, who's the most famous person you've met, and who's been the nicest person that you've met that's famous? Because I know from my experience, we can meet famous people, and they're horrible people, right?
Yeah. Well, MTV was an interesting experience, and I'll tell you, it wasn't as glamorous as you think. But out of everyone, I remember we got to go to the Logies last year, which was so exciting, and I met Kelly Rowland.
Yeah.
And I couldn't even believe it. I just couldn't even believe it, because Destiny's Child, oh my God. And I was nearly hyperventilating. And then I got a photo with her, and I was like, Jesus. So she was beautiful and amazing. And I remember, because all the Voice people were there, and I met Delta, and she, like, immediately, you just look into her eyes, and it's like, she is cool. Like, she is beautiful and lovely. But Guy Sebastian, I've met him 3 times. I've met him at MTV, then another time separately in radio with one of my friends, and when I used to have black hair, I'm like, he would not recognize me. And then again at the Logies, and every time he's not pretending. He literally knows, because he's like, oh yeah, remember I saw you there. And I go all totally fangirl, because I remember him from Australian Idol, the first season. And I remember the first time I met him and I was saying, oh my God, Guy Sebastian, I think you're the best. And I tape your episodes every night, and then I watch them back because I love your voice. And this is before YouTube and everything. And he was just looking, going, oh, okay. And he was so lovely. And I've met him so many times, and I just think he doesn't care that I'm being a dick. Like, he just is so, so gracious and like, oh yeah, cool. Like, very, very kind and lovely. I sometimes feel like the more famous they are, the nicer they are. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
So you kind of went really left field and studied integrative nutrition. What was the motivation behind that, and are you utilizing that at all now in your career?
Yeah, I use it every single day. So I did beauty to start off with, and like out of school, and then I did makeup artistry, and because I just liked like pictures, and I love art and stuff like that. And then I got into radio and did that for a few years, and then won the competition with MTV. And then after that, I went into radio for a little bit more. But then after that, I thought, oh God, I was kind of, some things happened with MTV that didn't made me just not want to be in the industry anymore. Mm-hmm. It was a lot about what I looked like, and I just felt like a piece of meat. And I didn't feel like I was right as a person. Do you know, I just felt like everything about me was wrong, and I didn't feel good. And so I thought, oh, I don't want to be in that industry anymore. And so that's when I thought, okay, I'm going to go back to beauty. And then I went and lived in Brisbane, and I kind of felt like I just hid for a while. I just wanted to get away from everyone. And then I got into eyebrows, and I did that. And I had an eyebrow business for years and years and years. I went around Australia sometimes and did that. And then I got sick, and I didn't feel good. And it's like no one knew what was wrong with me. And I just felt funny in my tummy all the time. And I felt awful. And I just felt like I was at the wrong place in my life. And I guess I feel like your body always talks to you, and it was giving me signs and telling me what to do. And sometimes you can listen, and if you don't listen to the whispers, it will yell at you. Yeah. And it did that. And I did so many things, and change. I remember, like, I broke up with a boyfriend. I sold my house. I moved back to the Sunshine Coast, and I took like a year off, and I studied integrated nutrition. And then I did all this body energy work and healing stuff. And I use it every day because I just feel like your body is, you're the best compass you can have. And so I wanted to train myself. I watched so many DVDs, and I read so many books on what you should eat. And I'd done the blood type diet, and I'd become a raw vegan, a sugar-free, raw vegan, gluten-free. And then I'd done the protein diet, and I'd done all this stuff. And I was just thinking, this is madness. Food is just such a pressure, or it has such control, and I don't know why, and I hate that. And so I wanted to stop listening to everyone else and all the words out there, and just know that my body instinctively knew what to do. And so I kind of, in a way, with doing the courses and stuff, trained myself to do that. And now I don't look at food like it's good or bad. I just look at like it's a different energy source. Yeah. And so every day I'm like, okay, well, how would my body like to ingest that energy today? And, and have it like that. And so that has given me a lot more lightness with food and freedom and my health and different things like that. And yeah, I use it every single day, and studying different things and combining everything has just really helped me. Yeah. So I never used it as a job, as a career thing, but that's not what I ever wanted it for. I wanted it for myself. I wanted to get out of are you allowed to swear on this?
Of course you can.
I wanted to get out of the head fuck that we all, you know what I mean? And we just grow up with it, and we think, oh, we're told to eat that and do that, and that's what you've got to do. And it's just like, I just didn't want to have that craziness in my life ever, anymore. And still every day I go, okay, well, what, you read things and you look at things, but that's the thing that has worked for me and made me more at peace with. It's changed my life.
Yeah, how good's that? I mean, so many of us, you look at how many athletes, particularly females, when we're during our peak of our career, we're, super fit and everything, but we're weighed like every couple of days.
Are you really?
Yeah, or some people are weighed every day. We had a thing, if we were 100 grams over our weight from the previous week that we had to run the block, and the block was 16
Yeah,
k's. And
that's
we were told,
terrible.
you can't eat that and you can't eat that. So of course some of the girls, they would say, you can't eat chocolate, right? So some of the girls would go and they would just literally gorge a family block of chocolate, which was a lot bigger
Yeah.
than the one today. So
Because if someone
it's,
tells you don't do it, you're just going to go crazy. I know when I
yeah,
was at MTV, I was eating blocks of cheese and running on the treadmill because I was like, protein, and then it got to be on the treadmill. And I'm like, was not working for my body. It just
no,
didn't, my body was like, what are you doing to me? Do you know?
yeah, yeah. It's super
Crazy.
interesting. It's interesting space, It's I think maybe what they need to do is teach everybody. The thing for me was like, no one taught me how to eat for a normal person. I know how to
Yeah.
eat for an athlete, but no one taught me
Yeah.
how to eat for a normal person.
So then how did you adjust out of it?
I think there's times when you started talking about energy with the food, I was like, yep, actually that's probably a really good place to start. Is this going to feel good in me? I
Exactly.
still
And
struggle.
food. But food when you eat chips, and people say, "Oh, chips are bad," but I love eating chips and chocolate, and I will have that nearly every day. But I'm not going to have a big bag. I'm just going to have a bit until when you eat it, and then suddenly it tastes different in your mouth. Like the chocolate starts to taste funny, and you're like, okay, my body doesn't want that anymore. Do you know little things like that, little signs?
Yeah,
If you listen to your body, what it's feeling and stuff like that. But we've just got to listen. And
that's it.
same with people, same with
Yep,
men, relationships, everything. You get those feelings. It's the same with food, and just being around different people.
that's it. So you come across as a happy-go-lucky person. Has there ever been a time in your life where you've suffered depression or
I wouldn't say,
sadness?
oh yes, sadness, totally. I wouldn't say depression,
Yeah,
but I'd say, yeah, absolutely sadness. But I'm not ashamed of it, or I don't think that's bad. I just think that you can be happy and you can be sad and you can be excited and you can be scared, and you just have emotions, and none of them are constant, and
yeah,
they change all the time. And those times of sadness, I listen to myself and I think, okay, so why am I here? What am I feeling? And that's, some kind of change needs to happen, or I need to be aware of something, and I'll sit with myself. But yeah, totally, many times. And there's lots of things that I've had to go through in my life, and that I've been through. And I think, what the fuck am I going to do? But I have some of the most amazing friends in the whole entire world. And I think, I'm not close with my family, but I think because of that, I've chosen the best friends,
yeah,
and they are just brilliant. And above everything else, I always have myself. So no matter what happens, I know that I've got my own back, and that's
yeah,
the most important thing.
yeah, absolutely. So when you were growing up, did you have a hero? Tell us a little bit about your childhood. Were you a sporty kid? What was school like for you? What type of person were you
No,
when you were growing up?
no, not sporty. Because okay, so get really personal. So I developed really early, and I started getting boobs in grade 3. So that was really embarrassing. And then by the time I was in grade 7, I had like full big D cup boobs, but I never wanted to get a bra because I was embarrassed. So I was like, no, I'm not getting a bra. This is embarrassing. I don't want to tell mum. So I didn't, and then I would get teased every day. And then literally going into high school, I would wear 2 bras when eventually I got bras in year 8. So I'd wear one, and then I'd wear another one that's like a sports bra to strap them down, so to keep them pushed down, so it looked like I was flatter than I was. So I had that, which I'd get every day. Someone would say something and I'd get teased, and the boys would yell out, show us your tits. And oh my God, look at them, like come up to me and just point them, like, look at that. And I'd be like, oh my God. And then I had this hair, which I didn't know what to do. I had an eyebrow. So I had so much hair. That's why I love doing eyebrows now. My skin was crazy. My hormones, I guess I had so much estrogen, and I was like, I just did not know what to do with myself. I was like this person, and I suppose I didn't know what to do with my body. I was just so much, and I was, so confused and embarrassed, I guess. And so then I never played sport, and I never ran, and I never played netball. And whenever I had sport, I would say, I feel sick. So
Yeah.
every time I never did that, which was really, I look back and I'm like, oh, I missed out on it. But I just couldn't. I was just so embarrassed by walking and people looking at me. And now, like, now my boobs go up and down, you know, and they get bigger sometimes of the month and smaller. And I've learned to dress with them, and I've learned to get different bras and stuff like that. And now I love them. But it took me so long to actually go, these are my boobs and they're mine, and they're not a bad thing, and they're not just, you know, a sexual, like, point them out. It was just because I think it happened from such a young age, and I didn't know what to do. And then I had some you know, our family was very dysfunctional. I had a really crazy childhood, and growing up in a it was like a violent household and stuff like that. And then we moved out, and then different things happened with my mum, and then I got kicked out when I was 16. And so funny story. It's a funny story though. So I'll tell you this quickly. So I got kicked out when I was 16. Didn't know what to do. Had to go and live with my dad, and I was terrified. I'm like, I can't live with my dad. He's so scary. Anyway, so I lived with him literally for 2 months before the government people came and picked me up. And then I went to foster care for a while, which I lived with like an old man and an old lady, and then these 2 other boys, but there was no room for me anywhere to live. And so I had to live in the living room with a curtain partitioning. I didn't have a door. So I was thinking, oh my God, I don't know. I can't live at home. No, you know, my mum doesn't want me to live there. I can't live with my dad. There's no room in even foster care. It was a time, and I was like, I don't know what to do. And I was still living at school. But eventually then you're allowed to apply for this housing, which they had at Alexandra Headlands. And it was like 1-bedroom apartments, and you just paid 25% of your income. So to survive, you get or study, but I'd go to school during the day, and then I'd work at night, and then I'd just ride my bike home at like 10 o'clock at night after working at Coles. But it's so funny because I was never scared. I was just in that frame of mind. Maybe it was like survival. It was like, no, fuck this. I'm doing it. So then I eventually got the 1-bedroom unit, and that was amazing. And I ended up living there, you know, for a couple of years, and did the rest of school there and everything like that. And I was so appreciative of that company. And I remember they were called AAA Housing. Fast forward to years and years later, this is probably about 5 years ago. And I remember, because I've lived lots of places in Australia and overseas and stuff, but I remember coming back, and I just really wanted to get into AAA Housing and help them and just pay them back for what they did. I just felt like I wanted to say, thank you so much, you know, like help someone how they helped me. And I couldn't find them. And I remember for years, I would always try and check and contact people, and I couldn't find them. And I just thought, oh, well, they've disintegrated or they don't exist anymore. Then fast forward to last year. So the maths finished. I start on CFM on the sunny coast. We're having meetings with the different people, and then they say, oh, we're going to have a meeting with IFYS. It's like this foster care group. And we're going to talk about, you know, what work you guys can do with them. So I was sitting down and having a meeting, and I was telling them, oh, like I had a foster care group that really helped me. And they were like, oh, what happened? And I told them the story, and I said, it was AAA Housing, and I tried to get in contact with them to help. And they said, oh no, that was through us. AAA Housing was a part of us. And I was like, no way. And they said, yeah, and we want you to be our ambassador. So now, all those years later, when I tried to help them, I couldn't. And all those years later, I am an ambassador for the people that helped me when I was at high school and I had nowhere to live. And I'm just like, it was just it's so cool. I love it so much. And I love that it's kind of like, you know, how many years later? That's 24 years later that happens. And I was like, that's kind of magic. Yeah,
that
it was
is
cool.
very magic. Yeah.
Yeah.
So who would you say was a big influence on your life that wasn't a parent?
At what age?
Any age.
I think the most important person in my life has been one of my friends, Fiona. And she's one of my best friends. She's the smartest person I know. She's one of those, you know, people that OP1, Then she studies to be a lawyer. And then she's like, I don't want to do that. I'll be an accountant. And then she's like, oh, no, I don't want to do that. I'll be a chiropractor. She's one of those people. She's so intelligent. She's magnificent. She doesn't sugarcoat anything. She's real. She's so aware. And she's so caring and beautiful and kind. And I've got so many beautiful friends like this as well. And she's just helped me in so many ways. I've just done, I don't know, I've got friends too that when I don't know what to do, they're such a good soundboard.
Yeah.
But she will never say, oh yeah, that's great. That sounds great. She'll be like, okay, why? What's really going on? And, you know, sometimes it's really hard to listen to those things. But ever since she's been in my life, I have grown so much more. Yeah. And also it's not like she's 1 year younger than me. She's not 50 years older than me. She just knows stuff, and she listens to herself. And also she teaches me to listen to myself. Yeah. So instead of telling me what to do, she empowers me to know what I know. And to have a friend like that it's just such a blessing. So yeah, I'd say her.
That is awesome. So if you were going to put half a dozen people around a table and you wanted to solve the world's problems, who would be some of the most influential people that you can think of that you would have as your mastermind? And they can be alive or dead.
Okay.
It could be someone that died 1 million years ago. It could be someone
this
that
is
died.
Interesting. Okay.
Or they could be alive today. And the idea is that you all draw on each other's knowledge and understandings and be able to solve a lot of problems.
Okay, so I've definitely
be on there.
Yeah. I'd pick Prince, the singer Prince.
Yeah.
I love Prince. I just love him so much because he's so clever. But I know his music and stuff like that. But that man's mind there must have been some, fucking rad shit going on in that mind. Do all those things and all those instruments, and I just think there's something so unusual and different about him that is beyond this world.
Yeah.
To him. Also, I'd say Oprah. I go in and out of Oprah, but yeah. I love her because she's open to stuff. Like she's open to learning more and more, things all the time.
Yep.
I also really love Alicia Keys. She's just she is really pleasant, and I just think she would bring a good vibe. So how many is that? Fiona, Prince, Oprah, Alicia Keys. Tarzan from Survivor?
Yes.
He was on Survivor. I love him so much. So I've become really good friends with him, and we met through another friend, and we will sit for hours and days and just talk and talk and talk and talk about stuff and just talk to whatever comes up. And he is fascinating, and he's got such an open mind and thinks so differently about things. And yeah, I class him as one of my best friends. I love him so much. He's amazing.
So his brother was my best friend. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. So every time I'd see Tarzan on Survivor, I'd burst into tears because it was crazy. Because they look so much alike, right? And he grows his beard because of his brother.
Yes, because of his brother, and his brother passed away from melanoma.
Yeah.
Julie, I love that.
Yeah. So I'm dying to meet Tarzan, but I'm afraid I'll just cry.
Don't worry, I cry. We cry to each other all the time.
Yeah.
We cry all the time. And do you know what? It's just like a moving of energy. So who cares? I cry. I cry all the time. Who cares? Like in life, do you know what I mean? It's just like, it's not sad, it's not bad, it's just life. And he'll say that, and oh God, can you please meet him soon then?
Yeah.
Please make this happen. You're so beautiful. Okay, well you can.
Hey, this interview's about you, not me.
You can be the last person that comes to dinner. You can be the last 6 person.
Ah, thank you. How beautiful. Thank you.
What a lovely time we will have.
Oh, what great fun. Oh my God. And we can't get starstruck with Alicia Keys and
just people.
Make sure there's a camp. Make sure there's a piano there.
We'll get Alicia Keys to sing.
Yes. Yes.
And I'll have good Prince. I know that's weird because if he's alive, do you know what I mean? We're pretending he's alive. So, because like seriously.
I know. So how do you relax? You work so much, you know, your day's full of work. How do you then relax?
I exercise.
Yeah.
So I make sure like I exercise. I love lifting weights and I love going to the gym. I love doing Pilates. I've got a treadmill. This is my treadmill. I've got a treadmill in my house.
Faithful treadmill.
I set it up so I can just put it in front of the TV and I watch music videos, and that's how I just kind of move my body and do stuff like that. I love cooking and I love eating. I love different foods and I love stuff, and I love watching TV and just zoning out. Do you know what I mean? I love going for walks and stuff like that, but sometimes I just love lying in front of the TV, eating brie and camembert cheese and just zoning out.
So out of these three, I'm not sure whether you would eat any of these, but anyway, peanut butter, Vegemite.
No, not really, but yes.
Promite.
Peanut butter every day in smoothies. So I always
nice.
put peanut butter.
Yeah.
Vegemite I rarely eat, but I've always got it in the cupboard. And Promite, no.
I'm gonna show you how good Promite can be one day on toast with a poached egg on top.
Oh, Julie, I don't know if I can do that.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Mm-hmm. Very good. Trust me. Okay. What's your favourite board game? Do you have one?
I can't really play board games.
Why?
Because I get angry about because you know, it's probably like the best thing I can play, because you get to a point in a board game and if someone's winning or someone's losing, I'm just really impatient. And so they take too long. And so then I'm like, oh, am I losing? Am I winning? And I get frustrated and then I'll just get annoyed. So now I just don't play board games. And I know that sounds like a dick, but I don't. I don't like puzzles and I don't like board games.
Fair enough. Toilet paper, over or under?
Over, but who cares really? Over. Yes.
And your favourite movie of all time?
Avatar.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
Are you kidding?
I
Julie.
know, right? I know. I think we started watching it and it was a moment when I was really tired, and once I'm tired, my body just shuts down and I'm asleep.
You need to settle in because it's like 3 hours.
Yes.
But the movie, I wish I was an Avatar. It's amazing because I love jungle movies and I love in the jungles. Do you know what I mean? And I love that kind of living. And there's a love story, and then there's the environment. And it's so cool. Then there's all this spiritual stuff. And can you please watch that ASAP?
I will. I'll watch it this weekend.
Yes.
How's that?
That'd be great.
I'll report back.
Yes. Thank you.
I'll get the popcorn ready.
Okay, great.
Heidi, it has been an absolute pleasure chatting with you today. Thank you so much for agreeing to do Natter with Macca with me.
Oh, how lovely. We should just do this anyway all the time.
I know. I've had a few people say that. I interviewed Jess from The Block.
Yeah, she's like, so I took her job at FM. She is. FM, and then she got a job in Sydney, and that's when I went back to the coast and I went, oh, I'm going back home, and it was all sliding doors. Yeah, she's amazing.
She is amazing. I really enjoyed chatting with her too. Yeah. So but it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your time.
Anytime, Julie, anytime. My God, you're such a beautiful lady. So good. Let's have a couple soon.
All right, sounds good. Have a great afternoon.
You too, lovely lady.
Bye.